Columbus has outperformed much larger cities. The true success indicator has been from the fans.
Well, it's going night out. And don't you know we're gonna
Hello and welcome to the club. I'm your host Mars, and this is the Upper 90 Club, a roundtable podcast where five friends have spent an entire
Happy
year.
birthday to us.
1 year. We have spent an entire year talking about the Columbus Crew.
Well,
Um,
on a
and
podcast.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, just here we have been talking about the Columbus Crew. The other times we were talking about other things like who was going to take the kids to school or
Yeah.
what to do
Why
about that
are
thing on my
kids?
back. Yeah. So anyway, happy birthday.
We did it,
Happy
guys.
birthday to us.
Did it.
1 year.
Yeah.
Seems like yesterday.
Who doesn't?
Yeah,
No
so-
followers.
Seems like
really
last year.
Into the
quickly, I
void.
will say, with me in the club are Ben, Mort, Trey, and Haas. I went back and looked at my little intro that I wrote up for the first episode, and I wanted to share it with you, just so that we could kind of just see how well it's aged. I think it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I say Ben. Old friend, former bandmate. Podcast was his idea. He's our resident maniac. This all tracks. Reporting from an undisclosed location in his own home, Ben Schreiber. And at that time, I think you had recently renovated your panic room in your basement there. And over this
Still
past
panicking.
year, we've seen the background change like 4 times, I think.
Yeah.
At least.
At least, yeah.
Because I'm a
guitars
maniac.
now. Yeah, that one. Yeah, that may be a little
jerseys.
overstated. Maniac, wild card,
Brainiac.
definitely a wild card.
Felon.
Anyway, so then Mort, who at that time I had just seen for the first time on video on this podcast, I said our chief strategy officer of scoring and winning and shooting and scoring, our voice of notoriety, complete with Norwegian accent.
Yeah.
Welcome to the
Yeah.
club, Mort. I think all that
Yeah,
holds
still
up pretty
tracks.
well.
What's up?
Tracks.
Yeah.
Tracks well.
Okay. Tracy, the club trainer and fitness director. This one's way off. This one's way off. I would say like the master of bleeps, queso.
Now I got that.
Man of
Yeah.
rage.
Keep your
Okay.
what?
We're just making work for Ben.
It affects
Uh,
spin.
And then
Only.
Haas,
Got a spin
I
shine.
said.
Did you just say in
Uh,
Haas?
Uh,
I'm sure his
I-
are nice and
I said Haas. I said
Oh.
a man I've known since we played rec league hoops together in first
yeah.
grade. Although in the recording, I think I said kindergarten or preschool. Our statistician and whiner in chief. He's drinking wine. He has not been drinking wine. He's been
No.
drinking bourbon. But yeah, I think all that holds up pretty well. I will just say a big shout out to Ben for real. He works harder than all of us putting
Yeah,
this thing
for
together.
sure.
So enough of the 1 year nostalgia. I just wanted to bring that back up because
Birthday.
yeah, I wanted to see how well it aged. So on this episode, we're going to review the 1-1 draw against Philly from this past weekend. We're going to get a Crew 2 update from Bird. We're going to do our predictions for another 2-game week in the waning moments of this regular season.
So much travel.
And then we'll look forward to just a few more games, and then start talking playoffs.
Yeah,
So,
a lot of Twitter responses too. We can give some shouts.
yeah, we'll go through those too.
Love the participation.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So who was at the game against Philly this weekend?
I was
raising his hand.
Yes. Audio format, Matt.
Yep.
1 year later.
And
Mort, you were there?
Morton is raising the roof.
Yep.
Side note,
So,
we're all wearing
how-
sunglasses. It's hard
Yeah,
to
that
see.
was-
Why would
Really
you wear
dark.
I
sunglasses?
don't know, man.
I'll tell you why
It's been
we're
a
wearing
long
sunglasses, because last week Ben was wearing them, and then I made some joke about how I was expecting him to wear them, and then I went and grabbed mine as a joke, and then I think Tracy felt pressured to get them
I did.
when Matt got on with sunglasses on.
Yep.
So then he went and got his, and then Mort joined.
Yeah,
And he
I
also
didn't want to
felt the
miss out.
pressure.
I was like,
Yeah.
something is going on, and it's probably on
we
me.
look
So I
kinda
need to put on
cool.
glasses.
Yeah,
Kind of.
yeah.
Kind
it's
of.
like
Mine don't
Yeah,
fit right. Do you see how mine look weird?
Yes,
Like,
you
it's
look
got
s- ridiculous.
it looks so dumb. Something's wrong. I'm gonna hit up
Take 'em
Nordic
off.
to see
Take
if
'em
I
off.
have.
Can't tell what's wrong. With your
so
head.
I think it's my
the
head.
turnout looked great on the broadcast. You know, I don't know if that was a Wednesday game thing I said about the Chicago game, our last home game, I think. But anyway, turnout looked good. How was the atmosphere there?
It was good. People were
Did anyone
pumped.
show up for Philly? Like, was it, you know, was there any altercations or, you know?
No, I
saw
saw some
some-
Eagles jerseys walking around. I'll have to admit that.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
did see that little guy in the Randall Cunningham jersey. That was pretty sweet.
Randall
Did you
Cunningham.
But-
yell at him?
I saw a big guy in
Yeah.
one, and I didn't want to pick a fight with him.
No.
So
I saw a few Union jerseys, but there wasn't like an away section or anything.
No.
Of them.
Okay. All right.
All right.
So all right, so let's kind of jump into the game here. Lineup, Haas, go through that, and then we can talk through the game.
So for the lineup, it's the new normal. Cucho, Rossi, and Matan up top. Yaboa, Morris, Nagby, and Gressel across the middle. Amundsen, Camacho, and Morera as our center backs, and Schulte in goal.
Right.
How, has Amundsen been starting back there?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
just really no surprises at all, considering how we've been lining up lately.
So, what do you guys think of the gameplay? I mean, I felt like we were controlling the ball. I don't know, some like kind of avoidable gaffes that I mean, kind of throughout. But
I want to say the first 10 minutes, the possession must have been like 90-10.
Had
They
to be.
did not touch the ball.
They
Yeah.
didn't
At
complete
all.
an offensive pass in the first 10 minutes.
And
Yeah.
then
It
it
was-
seemed like Jim Curtin made some sort of tactical switch, and it changed. Everything
Their only
changed after
touches
that.
were defensive, trying to stop us from moving the ball around.
Wow. I'm looking at the momentum, and that's the most lopsided momentum. I know that's arbitrary.
Well, I think this is a bigger overarching thing to this game that I found extremely annoying, but I think it started to come into play right about the time that you guys are talking about, was when every single foul, every single goal kick, Philly laid on the ground for an extra 10 seconds,
yeah.
15 seconds, and it slowed play so much. And
Not
I
to
think
talk
that
about
had
yeah,
an
not to talk about
impact.
VARs. Yeah,
Right, yeah. I mean, like just as like that's a bigger tone for the entire game because they did it through the rest of the game. But yeah, we came out on fire, and then they made some sort of switch, started doing that, and it did slow down.
Yeah. Watching it, we came out fast, and we had a bunch of shots, but it just felt like, I don't know if you guys had the same feeling, but as soon as Andre Blake made a couple of those saves, I was like, I don't think we're going to score. Like, this feels like something where we're just not going to be able to get it past Blake. We are notoriously bad against Blake. And they showed on the broadcast that Nancy hasn't won against Philly. He's 0-5-4 or something like that. And I was like, once Rossi missed that wide open goal ish, it was harder on looking back.
What, in the
but
third minute?
yeah, like,
hey, I know
had
we
to
have a
put that on
segment
frame.
for this. I know we have a segment for this, but I believe it's Belake.
I don't know what that means.
there's no way that it's pronounced.
Well, Andre
Milwaukee?
He was so good. It didn't matter that the rest of their team sucked. Like or couldn't get the ball, or whatever it was. I mean, I'm with you, Ben. It felt like one of those situations where I didn't believe we were gonna get one past him, and in a few ways we didn't, right?
See,
yeah, we didn't.
In person at the game, though, it felt like it was going to happen. Like it just felt like momentum building in our direction. The crowd was into it. It felt like it was going to happen again. And Philly's first offensive pass between their own team moving forward was 9 minutes and 15 seconds.
Wow.
Really? I don't remember it being that dominant off the jump.
Oh no, I would say some
Remember-
of the first minutes it was one of the best halves, like periods of play we had without a goal. I think that's the best way of summarizing it.
I could have missed something in rewatching it, but that was the first one that I noted.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, we're talking about the lineups. The Philly lineup, they had their top 3 guys not playing the first half. Yeah. And they did that by design because they have some guys that are hurting. Like they don't have Martinez, which is like their Nagby, I guess you could say, their number 6. He's out. He's injured. So like they were hurting. They had Jack McGlinnan, I think. I don't even have it in front of me, but I just remember looking at it going at the end of the first half going, this is bad that we didn't score. Because I think by design, and it was correct, he brought in the firepower and it changed the game. The second half. And I was like, man, we didn't score in the first half. And I was like, I felt it off the jump. I mean, probably being there was a lot different, but I was by myself, lonely, just going, man, anytime we play Blake, I'm like, man, this guy, he should have had man of the match. He had 8 blocks. He played out of his mind. He seems to have his best games against us.
I think somebody mentioned the VAR at the beginning of the game. There were a couple instances where they did go to VAR, and nothing came of it, which it worked in our favor.
Oh, the Amundsen handball. Get that was so dumb.
Yeah, that one was like pretty.
It was more in the
blank.
second half, actually, to be fair, but still, it seemed unnecessary. Some of them, they seemed like they were obvious.
They were interrupting run of play and kind of not. If I remember correctly, I don't think that. I mean, like the Amundsen handball, for instance, was not.
The other
like
thing
some
I
kind of
reacted to the
goal-scoring
fact that
opportunity.
I think they only added 3 minutes in the first half or something like that.
Yeah.
That was insane. Yeah, that was totally insane.
Because like right when they called it, they zoomed in on Cucho and he ran up to the ref and he was holding up 3 fingers like, what are you talking about? Like it was insane. So we're gonna circle back to this. Yeah. But I do want to talk about, our new normal top 3. I think Ramirez should be starting. I absolutely think Ramirez should be starting. We are losing
over Matan.
Yeah,
either over Matan or over Rossi.
Yeah,
I think
I like Matan on the field.
I do too. For me, I don't even know. I just feel better when Ramirez comes in. It provides a different dynamic, and having somebody like on their last defender, stretching them out. When we have 3 guys that are like running in underneath and nobody's like vertically, we spin our wheels. Like I don't know. It's hard for me to say that because that's what I thought a couple weeks ago, and that's what I've been feeling because we've been scoring so many goals with those 3 on the field. So it's hard for me to be like, I don't think this is working. We had 3 goals. It's like, that makes sense. But this game, I was like, man, something just isn't. It's just that final. I don't know.
It tells us that's a good problem to have. The fact that we have discussion around, like we have options, and there is some competition. But it's also because something, at least on Saturday, was not clicking quite.
Yeah.
And one of the 3 on top that is not very active is Rossi. And Matan had a lot of these little runs that you threw in the back. He's slippery. We were joking about like the defenders of Philly were so tall and big. They looked like Quentin, all of them. And they were like, where's that little guy? Where's this guy like shooting by me? But they were joking that we couldn't see him because he had those little cut-through runs behind the defense to make it really dangerous a couple of times.
Yeah. I think Rossi, he runs a lot. Like he's all over the place. He just isn't finding effective space. That's my main beef with the whole thing is like he gets the ball in these like okay spots, but he doesn't take people one-on-one. He doesn't stretch the field. He just kind of like gets it around the final third and then doesn't do a whole lot. He presses well, but I mean,
and people say, well, it's not like oh my God, Zelarayan. But at the same time, that's unfair because they traded Zelda because he wanted a different kind of player
Yeah, 100%.
to his system.
Yeah,
But
he
people
didn't
still
want a
compare
Bailey.
it. It's like, oh, he doesn't beat some people. He doesn't
Right.
not make 3 guys
Right.
and make people look stupid, because that's not what Nancy wants.
He's not a 10.
He wants
Like,
something
yeah.
else. Yeah. So,
Well,
but at
I
the same
think-
time, we will get back to that probably in the second half. But
Yeah, and some of the Twitter questions had
yeah.
some things.
Yeah, I'll keep my comments till we get there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Rossi had 4 shots. Matan had 2.
Yeah, 2 of them hit with his, purse, if I can put it that way. There were some really soft shots.
Yeah, there was a couple
Barely
like
made it.
super soft. When you said purse, I thought you were talking about like a body part that's like a purse. I was like, is that good or bad? Like a coin
Let's lean
purse?
into that. Let's lean into that metaphor.
Yeah, it's probably not the best.
Jack Elliott
Just
looked
dive right
good until later. I felt like he did a good job for Philly, just kind of helping Blake keep things under control for them. But
He's a
He's a
great
big
player.
dude. He's a
yeah,
big dude.
big dude, and was really I don't know. I just felt like he kept showing up when they needed to make stops.
Yeah, Damian Lowe played well. He's a really good player. And then the
He
only
put
other
some great balls in
Mhm.
over the back line. I mean, he was just putting them on a dime.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought we had, well, I keep wanting to say Wagner, but Wagner.
That's who I was talking
Wag-
about, not Low.
Wagner.
Yeah.
Wagner.
I thought we did a pretty good job against him. I just think we struggle so hard against Blake. I think he just has our number.
Yeah.
It's just, it is
Speaking
what
of
it is.
Wagner, what about in the 18th minute, his potential handball? He had both of his arms behind his back, but he like jumped and turned and like swung his arms out and
Like a chicken
yeah.
leg.
made contact with the ball in the box.
Yeah. I don't
They're
know.
not behind him. He's like
I didn't-
spinning as he hits it. Like
Yeah, I
At
didn't
least they were
think that one-
consistent.
Did he make
I
his,
didn't think that one. He
Yeah.
had his arm out to his side enough to call.
And he wasn't leaning into it.
Yeah,
That was the
did he
other
make
thing,
himself
too. He wasn't
bigger?
leaning
like,
into it.
kind of not.
I thought the ref did a decent job until the second.
Yeah,
the
not
end of
hard
the
stop.
second
Yeah, you
half.
you texted out to all of us like, "Hey, I think the ref's actually doing well." I'm like, "Yeah." I
Yeah.
was, especially after like reviewing Amundsen's quote unquote handball and not calling it. I was like, "Okay, good," because if he would have called that, I would have lost my brain because we got absolutely screwed
that
the first game
that one
with two
was-
handballs.
Yeah,
Like, I would have been all over the place. But the fact that it went to his ear to go check it, he went and checked it and was just like, "Yeah, no." I'm like, "Okay, respect." Like someone calling you out.
I
and
wasn't
you go,
even
like,
thinking about that rewatching it or during the game.
I wasn't
The
either. I
handballs from the
saw
first
a
game.
I think it was somebody tweeted or something like that. I was like, "Oh, that's right. I forgot about the absolute horse crap that happened early on in the season, like the first game with the 2 ridiculous handball calls." We'll flash forward to the
But
end
I
of the
mean-
game, but
Otherwise, in the first half, I mean, I picked out Morris having some pretty bad touches a couple
Yes.
different times, giving the
Yes.
ball away.
Yep.
In the 19th minute and the 42nd minute were the big ones that jumped out at me.
was that the one where he just kind of half touched it, and the other team
that
just
was,
took
I
it on
think,
a
the one in the
breakaway?
19th
They had a
minute
breakaway,
and
yeah.
Union counterattacks. Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah,
And it ends up almost being a foul in the box from him during that same run of play after he gives that away.
Nagby and then Morris. and
Nagby
yeah,
and
that-
Morris, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nagby gave one up.
Not
too.
a
It
foul,
was
but
strange
Doya
to
being
see.
a little.
yeah, not a fan of Odoya.
It was awkward what happened, and I agree.
Keith?
I don't think there was a foul, but any ref could have called that either way. Like,
I
put
agree.
yourself in a position for that to be called is rough.
Yeah,
We
I
talked
agree.
about that
Um,
before this season. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the thing that I always said. Like, if Nagby and Morris are on, like on, we are the best team in the league. This is the game where when I'm looking at their actual stats, they are the 2 worst players on the field, not including Schulte. But although I don't think Schulte had a bad game, I think it was just numbers.
This
but
is the interesting thing. He was like certain things he did really well, because we're talking about how he's growing more and more. We're talking about Morris more and more into like kind of a Nagby's persona, in the fact that he can feel that defender and he can like turn with the ball under pressure
or let it run.
and let it go. And he did that actually really well in this game. It was his passing that was
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah,
So
And off
there was
and
kind
off
of-
night.
just
He
off.
has been
was
great.
off.
Yeah.
off.
Yeah. There was just some things that were off this game, accompanied with just bad luck and really good goalkeeping from
Well,
Blake.
and so for the first half, I mean, my big takeaway was, we were adequately threatening, right? We just didn't score, right?
Yeah,
Like I think
agreed.
we played a good game. We had a couple or a good half. We had a couple mistakes that didn't cost us a goal.
I think we had 14
and
shots
I think
in the first half. Like,
we played a great half. We
Smart,
just didn't score.
Shots that
Um,
needed to be on target rather than off. Like
Yeah,
the
that's
third
probably the
minute
thing.
one drove me
Yeah.
crazy rewatching it. Like,
yeah.
time and space and knocks
What
it
about-
wide.
What about Nagby whiffing it?
I don't
Nagby has-
recall that one.
He had a whiff. The ball comes through the box, in the middle of the box. I think it's Yao that gets down there. His player puts it across, and it goes straight through the top of the 6, and Nagby whiffs it,
Mm.
and it goes through.
Yeah, I know which one
Probably
you're talking
fake
about.
out.
Yeah.
Y'all played well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's one of the more consistent players, and I think he should be fed the ball more.
They were giving it to
Yeah.
him a lot. They were
I
taking
would
it
say-
from the
he
left
had a
wing
lot of touches.
A lot.
And I would say one thing though, they have what is the guy on their right back there, Baizo or
Abizo.
whatever, Mbezo. Yeah,
Mhm.
he is fast, and they clearly was aware of Yao. He tried to take him on a couple of times,
And he didn't get it, yeah.
He,
And he's
he-
big.
He couldn't get by him. Yeah,
He's big,
physical
too.
guy, good player.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, Philly is a very good team, like one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah, and I think that just given their style of play, I don't know, it was kind of different than some of the games we've seen recently, and so just in general, it was kind of a different kind of vibe to watch. But let's break now for the first half, and when we come back, we'll go through the second half. We'll be right, chat.
This episode of the Upper 90 Club is brought to you, as always, by Supporter Supply Company. Hi, friends, this is your good pal Morgan Hughes, here to talk to you about a serious issue facing 96% of all crew supporters in Columbus. Why, not enough free shipping, of course. For a limited time now, through the eventual heat death of the universe, Upper 90 Club listeners can use the promo code Upper90Boys. That's boys with a Z on the end of it, at checkout for free delivery on absolutely any order over $10. But Morgan, what if I order $10 worth of stickers, or those goddamned buttons, or some other combination of small items that make you want to kill yourself? Will the free shipping still apply then, even as you curse our family, while you package up our little tiny annoying ass order for us? Of course it will. That's just how much we here at Supporter Supply value our friends at the Upper 90 Club. So head on over to supportersupply.co and use the promo code Upper90Boys. That's boys with a Z at checkout for free shipping on all your orders over $10. And don't forget to tell them that your friends at the Upper 90 Club sent ya.
All right, we're back. It was superhero night, right?
It was.
Yes, it was.
So, Haz, did you dress up?
Oh, he's holding
holding
up
up
the
a
pennant.
pennant.
That pennant is cool.
It's like
want
the
that.
superhero cartoony pennant.
I will say most of the stuff they've come out for the superhero stuff sucks. I don't like any of it.
Marvel.
Yeah, like the shirts with
I think you
Sensei's
said-
color
Yeah.
and the what was it, the Captain America one that's super busy. Like I don't
Yeah.
like any of
Oh,
that.
you're
It's
talking
like
What MLS did.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Was anybody dressed up like superheroes?
I thought you
like
were just
outside?
like I thought you were trashing on
There
just
were kids.
superhero the genre.
oh no,
like-
I love superheroes. Look at behind me, you can see. Look, Superman. That's Sabretooth.
I saw somebody posted today
Green
that one of the some kind of girl, just this girl lost her cape, and it's a special cape.
Oh.
So
Oh, I
she's
did
hoping
see
to
that.
get that one back.
A cape
you
and a
heard that?
shield.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, were there any costumes of note?
Yeah, like out
No.
front. Didn't I mean like the Star
No,
Wars
Haz-
one they had?
Haz says absolutely not.
Spider-Man. I saw Spider-Man.
We had
you
a
weren't
couple
even
of people dressed up in ridiculous outfits like soccer outfits on our bench, but that's about it.
Yeah,
I like
Heyo.
turtles.
Yeah, that was deep.
Shots
That's
fired.
layered.
So deep.
Okay. Well,
Unlike our bench.
maybe you could
Yep.
expand on that later. Let's get into the second half. What do you guys think coming out? We got scored on pretty quick, didn't we?
I mean, I think we kind of mentioned it earlier, but the biggest thing for this, I mean, the second half, in my opinion,
Subs.
is that they're subs immediately. They brought on Carranza, Ure, and Gazdag for Sullivan, Donovan, and Bedoya. And I think that had a big impact on the game, bringing those guys in.
Yeah, I mean, it was their 7, 9, and 10. Like, okay, cool. It's literally like our front three subbing on.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they called it right away. They said that was his game plan to start. He was, Curtin was like, yeah, I'm going to play, because of fixture congestion. I'm going to sub out these guys. And his whole goal was to make it to halftime without getting scored on, and he did. And then having them come on, I was like, man, I just don't have a good feeling about this. And
so
sure enough,
we mentioned that the sub thing was by design. They played in Dallas on the Wednesday prior, 2-2 draw. I mean, I think this kind of validates their strategy, right? I mean, what do you think of that?
No, I think Jim Curtin is a very experienced coach, and he plays a very smart game, and he has a team that knows how to, for the most part, win. I know they had like 5 ties in a row right now or something like that, including this one, but it's a team very hard to beat, and they find ways to make it difficult, and he always find a way to go to the playoff. So this was a really good test for us, I think, because it's the kind of thing you have to deal with in the playoff as well. And they came in. Let's say this was a doubleheader, right? They coming in away, and they would just want to make it difficult for us, and then coming in and see if they can steal a point or maybe even 3. And that's really, I think that's what they were going for, and they were pretty successful.
Yeah.
Yeah, they made subs because I watched that Dallas game prior to this game. Like they made subs in that game. Like they didn't play their starters or whatever. I will say that they did bring in those guys. I thought we played them actually pretty well. They caused us trouble, but we did a pretty good job against them. They weren't rated very high. I think they're 6s. I have my glasses on. I can't read it. So I mean, they caused trouble, but our guys were able to handle them quasi successfully. I mean, let's get into the goal because it happened so fast, but the goal wasn't those dudes. I mean, the goal was
a corner, wasn't it?
It's just us not being able to deal with set pieces.
It was actually their second corner in a row in the 50th minute. They had one in the 49th. They had one in the 50th. It's taken from the northeast corner of the building. Morris, Moreira, Camacho, and Cucho are all grouped together in the middle and not on anyone. Morris was kind of trailing behind, and it was an in-swinging ball from Wagner, and Hariel is easily able to get on it and put it to Schulte's left.
Well, a couple things here. One, the closest person was one of their own players. So there was actually 2 people completely unmarked. My issue also is that it was inside the 6, and it was an in-swinger in. So like that's a keeper's ball, right? I mean, if it's coming in and it's inside the 6, like I feel like Schulte, because he's very good at a lot of things. He is very bad at.
No, I don't think it's automatic on that one. I don't think it's automatic on that one because I think there's a very well hit ball. It's one of those balls where the goalie has to make a decision, and it's like right in the borderline, and he can end up like going and be in a no man's land, right? Like we saw in another game recently.
Yeah.
I mean, he probably had that in mind as well, and said,
100%.
Hey, I'm just gonna stay my.
That
but,
I can.
But at the same time, he should maybe have gone, but that 2 players should not be standing all by themselves heading the ball in.
He sees those 4 guys right there. They're like in between the ball and where the ball ends up, and none of them are on anyone. Like that's a huge.
Are we doing zonal? Because
lapse
I was also looking. I mean, don't get me wrong. We don't have a lot of height in our defense. Like Camacho's not super tall. Amundsen's not very tall. Like Moreira's tall, but I mean, There's nobody like Quentin
No,
who's
this-
like super tall, and they are. I mean,
Tall.
they are.
They must be one of the
tall.
tallest teams in the league. Seriously, when they come in here, I can't remember any other team that even our taller guys look short compared to these guys.
Yeah, I think.
So it scared the hell out of me on the corners in general.
Yeah, I mean, Damian Lowe was being marked by Aiden Morris. Like, there's 6 or 7 inches there that isn't. That's,
and he was behind him.
Yeah, I mean, I
They
don't.
lost him.
I have such an issue with. We need to hire a set piece manager. What did I call the guy that one time, like at the beginning of this
Special teams.
Special teams.
Yeah, I'm a genius. Like we need to hire like a set piece, coach. I know it exists. I know it exists for the international level, but like our corners, we've been having issues. It's great that we have Gressel, but like before that, we were absolute crap at it. And then we are
at the same
so
time, though.
bad at defending. Set
Yeah, but
pieces.
have we? I know we were really, really, really bad at the start of the season on these things. And when Schulte came in the start, he was struggling really bad. But after that, I would like to see the stats on that versus other teams. You will let in set piece goals. Obviously, we had some really like big ones at the very end of a game
Like
where you have
bad.
no faith in your defense gonna do it.
Yeah.
So I get it. So that makes you nervous. Some of that is the physique, the size, or whatever else we have. But I would like to see the numbers on it. If we really do let in that many goals, I'm almost more concerned the fact that we don't score more goals on corner kicks, even though Kucha did last week. But I can't remember a
general,
whole lot of that other than some of those
you-
last gasp kind of goals.
Do you think that? Do you think we've talked about this, Ben? I'm glad you brought it up because I think you have said this before, and I think you're right that we kind of freak out, we go into panic mode when we're defending set pieces, corners specifically. Do you think that also this could be less of a disease and more of a symptom of just us focusing so much on the possession for, like we have all of our eggs in the system basket where, maybe they throw defending set pieces and corner kicks into the margins and just say, we're going to have a bad percentage on these because we're laser focused on this approach and this
It's a
system.
trade-off.
I think it's hard to say. I think the system / run of play we are absolutely brilliant at. I think pragmatic substitutions and changing in game and set pieces are issues that we face. I don't think there's a big enough sample size to figure out like what Nancy is good or bad at because he's still like a relatively new coach. But that is something that seems. The problem is it also seems inherent to the Columbus Crew because we had it with Porter, we had it with Berhalter. Like these are things that we just kind of. It's just a Columbus thing, I guess. But I don't know. I have no clue.
I think that's thing that just happens, and when you struggle, get a little nervous, and the confidence hurts. And I think that's what we focus on. It seems like every time they have a corner kick, but
Yeah, maybe.
every teams will let in goals and corner kicks, and I think there might be somewhat of an overreaction as well.
I
But
think
it's a trade-off. I think at the same time.
I would be more interested in like out of the goals that we have let in, how many were like dead ball.
Yeah.
That type of stuff. I feel like it's like 50% or more. I think it's some wild number because there's just not a lot of run of play goals that happen. I mean, there is
Not-
but
not
like-
I get it right on
not
it.
as much
I get right
recently.
on it. I'm typing.
All right, sweet.
We
We need a search stat.
did Haas do the rundown
Yeah.
of the goal? He did.
For the 50, for their goal, yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So then I don't know. How did we react? Did we react? Was this an anomaly?
It was very back and forth the whole second half.
it
I
was
felt like.
insane.
And like I have notes of corner kicks,
Yeah.
and the crew take a corner kick in the 61st, the 63rd, the 64th. Philly has a corner. Oh, that was a counter.
Their counters were also deadly
Nonetheless.
on our. I was real nervous. Personally,
It I felt the whole second half was crazy back and forth.
Yeah.
Opportunities all over the place.
So you, I think, was being, I think it was Hawes that said this. Apologies if not. Aiden Morris had a few funky touches in the first half, and then we saw him come off in the 60th minute for Ramirez. Do you think that substitution was because his play wasn't up to snuff, or a tactical change, mix of both?
So did they move
Potentially 'cause we're playing
Rossi
on
back,
Wednesday,
or they
too?
move Matan back?
I think Matan dropped a little bit deeper. Rossi was still maneuvering on the left side
Yeah.
until
I thought that was kind of
entire game.
crazy. Yeah, I mean, he didn't have a great game, but 60 minutes, I'm like, oh, okay. And then he subbed on Ramirez. I was like, okay, well, he's going for it. And at that point, yeah, it was just like end to end. I mean, we did have a ton of corners at one point, and then what finally broke up those corners was like a ridiculous. Was that the counter where Amundsen could have had a red? Was it that at that time?
Yeah,
Maybe around 60
I
or
can't
something?
remember the
66
order.
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah, and that was actually played correctly.
So explain this to me, because when I saw it, there's two things. One, if it's a foul on Amundsen, that's a red card. By what I'm used to. The other thing is, I thought they were both kind of tangled on each other, because I mean, the other guy also had his arm wrapped around Amundsen. I'm like, yeah. I still, if he would have stopped it there and gave him a red card, I'd have been like, yep, okay, cool. But he eventually gave him a yellow. Can you explain to me the actual rule? Because I saw a tweet.
I mean, I can. I know this is usually not my job. I mean, Trey is usually on the FIFA book and all those things, but there is a thing where actually, if you call the advantage, even though it is a red card foul like the last person, and it was called an advantage where the next person is through, and he missed that, there's no longer an opportunity to give a red card.
Why?
It is actually a rule that is written up. I can read it word for word, but I don't want to bore people. But that's the rule, and he applied it actually correctly. If he had called the whistle when the foul happened, he would have been out of there.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
The red is for stopping a goal scoring opportunity, but they played on. They took a shot and they didn't score.
Yep.
This is not a goal scoring opportunity because they didn't score.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense. Like if he scores, I'm like, cool, give him a yellow. But they didn't score.
It's
so
not a red because it played on and they
Yeah.
had more offensive possession.
Yeah.
Regardless of what happened.
Right.
It just
Right.
And
doesn't.
I mean, honestly, like you were saying, Ben, I question whether that's a red. They were both tangled. Both of their arms were wrapped around each other.
I would have given a red.
Yeah.
I would be honest with you guys.
And honestly, I think he should have had a second yellow a little later.
That is also
in the game
correct.
as well. That is so.
Yeah,
So
that's
almost
also
a very
correct.
lucky man to be on the field at the very end of the game.
Those do all right, and I want to preface this: those two do not equal what happens later on. Like I don't think those are like that's a yin and a yang thing. I think that's complete horse crap. But I still don't understand. Like, oh, we played on, so they had another goal scoring opportunity, so the first one doesn't count as a goal scoring opportunity. Like I don't. It doesn't make. I kind of get it, but it's like taking me a lot of mental gymnastics to like put those together.
It's one run.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah,
one run of
I know.
I've never seen it before.
You did post in our group text, Christina Uncle talking about how that was a fantastic call,
and she is
needed to be recognized.
The
she's a referee herself, one of the
Uncle.
head referees in the MLS.
Yeah.
Her husband also is a referee in the MLS.
Correct.
It's not often we say that, but she called this pretty well for us in that case and explained it well.
I still don't
recording this, are we?
understand. Yeah, I feel like not a crew fan, and I'm like, I
don't want that on record.
But yeah, I might beat that out.
So we did equalize.
Mm-hmm.
That was from a PK, right?
Wow, we don't get many of those.
Yeah,
no, I feel like it's all we've been doing, and that's kind of concerning in and of itself. Like,
yeah,
it is.
So he called it right
score,
away, and I don't know if you guys saw it live and it made sense, but like the angle they had it for the broadcast, I was like, wait, what? That's awesome, but also what? And then when they slow-moed it down, I was like, oh, obviously that's a handball. My issue and my question, because I wanted to ask Trey this, and I was going to text it, but I didn't want to like is that a red card?
No.
Because when you like purposefully like move your arm to stop a goal, because it was like pretty. I felt like it was pretty egregious, like, especially on rewatch.
problem
Like
with-
Well, then it's a red card every time that you hit the ball in the arm, right?
but
Yeah,
he
go ahead,
I-
John.
I-
to me he did
A
it
handball.
Like,
I think
purposefully.
a handball in the box is it used to be a red card almost all the time, isn't it?
No.
A handball in the box.
And
No,
you just answered
no.
it there, though, is that if it's a handball in a box, when you're awarding a PK, then it can't be a red.
Now,
Yes.
yeah, recently, but also, yeah,
Right.
okay, yeah,
So,
yeah. I guess that makes
and
sense.
if it's a ball that plays the hand, and it wasn't the hand, it was the arm. If he would have reached out two hands like a goalkeeper and saved
Yeah.
it, that's a different scenario because you are no longer within the perimeters of playing the ball naturally. You are blatantly doing something that would still
but this
probably
is
only be
an
a
obvious PK, right? Do
Yeah.
I
Think
feel
Suarez
insane?
in the World Cup.
yellow. Yeah.
Well, and so this is
But
in
even
the
that was a yellow.
71st minute.
No, those are
71st
That's
minute.
second
It's a
yellow.
free kick right outside the box.
Oh.
I believe Cucho takes it, shoots it, and it goes into the wall. Elliott's on the edge, and as he jumps, his arm kind of chicken wings out a little bit as he jumps.
A lot of bit.
A lot of bit.
It's a big wing. He's got a big
Catches
wing.
the ball. Then by the time it happens, it's the 72nd minute. Cucho takes the penalty kick, and it is taken low and hard to the keeper's left, but not to the corner. It's still
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
a bad
middle.
take. I mean, it works.
Hey, did you see the
risky.
no look? Did
Yeah,
you
I
see
did
the
see
no
the
look
no
on that
look.
one? He's staring down. He's staring down the left as he kicking the
The
ball.
no look
Man,
that
I
worked
had
because
no-
what
I
happened
had-
with Blake, he went that way.
Yeah, he did. And I had no faith that this was going in. I was like, Blake has this. Like, I don't trust.
No, I had this one.
You really? Oh man, I was like, this is.
He's so good at penalties. He had so much practice.
Who, Cucho? Yeah, I know.
Yes.
Yeah, you got a guy who has a lot of confidence. But hey, fair play to him. He went the wrong way. He went the other way. You know, whatever. I think the chicken arm comes out because Gazdag was standing next to Elliott, and then right before he takes it, he runs to the post to cover that post, and he bends it where like
He would have been.
he was standing, and he just naturally it was just like, oop, I need to put my arm out to block it.
I mean, it's
But
a penalty. It's a foul. It's a PK. Like,
Yeah, he put it away, done, sweet. And I think from then on out, it was just like gloves came off back and forth. It was like hard to watch. I was
Yeah,
just
it
like,
was nuts.
what
I
is
mean, they had
happening?
many
Continued.
chances.
The back and forth continued.
Mhm.
Like it had already been that way in the second half, and it just like kept
Yeah,
like it was intense watching it.
yeah.
It was a little frustrating because I thought we were going to take on a little bit more momentum and take more control. And there was a lot of missed passes, a lot of weird giveaways. We gave the ball away a lot more than we usually do in possession.
They
play.
did too. The game just felt like out of control. Like anything could happen at any moment. So yeah, I mean that pushes us into the 80. They put on Farsi for Gressel. I thought Gressel had kind of a quiet game. His corners were really well taken.
Other than
but
his constant corner kicks.
yeah, those
Yeah.
were all actually really good, per usual.
And here's the
And
thing:
around
we
the
started.
70
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Just a quick one around the 75th. I thought it was funny that Twellman called Camacho Camucho.
Kombucha. Yeah, it's. I gotta switch the broadcast. I gotta
they
figure
were,
out. how
They
to
were playing it
broadcast.
loose. I heard a Cucho Hernando's in there at one point.
No.
Two of them. Yeah, I don't know.
I would encourage everyone, and Ben, you'll like this, to go back to the 69th minute, like right when the clock hits 69.
Nice.
I think it's when they're getting ready for the PK. They're getting set up for the PK.
For the free kick.
Maybe it
Before
was
the
the free
PK?
kick. It was the ball was dead, and Nancy, man, he is just like, the crowd's loud, everyone's high intensity. He is just him and his magnet board
I know,
just jamming.
He's like DJing. It looks like he's just DJing over there.
Exactly. It looks like he's DJing. He is just like, he was just in the zone. And I was like, I wish that I could just feel what he was feeling, because it was so good. But I was like, 69, got to bring that one up for Ben. So
Yep.
Well, and I think that's right around then is what led to it. They blew the whistle after Ramirez was hacked down, and the ref called the play the wrong direction. He called it against Ramirez.
Oh, yeah.
And corrected it,
which was
and
good.
I think that's what led to the free kick.
Yeah, which was correct.
Then led
100%
to the
correct.
PK.
We lost our minds.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, but he corrected
Other
again. He had some like insane, egregious calls, but yeah.
So you were saying
Let's get back to that.
Farsi.
Let's get back to that.
Farsi came in for Gressel.
79th.
Molino for Matan.
Yeah,
Dude.
Kevin.
Dude,
Kevin.
I'm,
That's
I'm telling you, I feel kind of bad about this, but our whole row went, what the is going on? We're like, no. It was a loud, like, no. And he must hear this. I mean, like, because I feel like the whole section was going like a big groan.
The whole I guarantee more so the Nordic and stuff like that. Like everybody's kind of like bummed out about it. Again, I don't think he played that bad. If you're gonna do a like for like,
He didn't
for
play bad.
Matan,
He didn't play bad.
he is the closest one. That takes a lot of pushing there. Like Matan is head and shoulders above, theoretically, from Matan.
But you
not
also
really.
have Russell Rowe or Arfston.
So I have
are
an
the other
issue
two
with that.
attacking
This
players
is
you could have brought
yes.
on.
And you have 2 games in a row where I think Rossi didn't do a whole lot. Rossi was super quiet. And you've got someone like Russell Rowe who has proven himself to come on and make a difference and score in the last 10 minutes. What has happened? What did he say? He seems like a nice guy. Why are we not putting him in? He's a difference maker. Molino is not like a difference maker. You know what I mean? Like he used to be, but he's not. I mean, he hasn't at all this season. You put him on and he does like
he can possess. He can find the open guy and pass to him, and hopefully not get anywhere near the other team.
or
and
his
get
knees don't
fouled
just
and
fly out of his
for the
body.
next.
That's what I'm
decade.
waiting
But
for.
like, I just feel like Russell Rowe is like a really fast pressing guy. Put him in, do a different look. I mean, Rossi's been playing. I feel like ever since he started like the second game, he has not been subbed off yet. Am I crazy?
I think he hope for him to come good, and I think he sees something in him. I think it might click, and he's still kind of okay.
I
keep
do
playing,
too. I
keep
still
playing
think
through
he's
it.
going to be awesome. It's just this game. It just felt like, guys, it's not clicking. Do something like
Yeah,
be
this
pragmatic.
was probably not very good.
Let's results 1-1. The other big thing we want to talk about is the takedown. When was that?
It's just a
93rd
friendly
minute.
hug. Come on, man.
93rd minute.
Body slam.
Hernandez gets not Hernandez.
No, Ramirez.
Ramirez gets body slammed
Jack Elliott.
by Jack Elliott.
Both arms wrapped around
pulling
him in
back
the
where
box.
he can't.
Hug.
And it was supposedly checked. How do you check that and not call something?
I can play devil's advocate
ahead.
on that. Advocate.
Yeah, have at it.
That's
Have at it, Mort.
pronunciation. If they reviewed it and they're going to review what happened leading up to that, do you see what Kucho is doing? He takes that low right before Ramirez is taken out. He takes him out, like clears him out the same way. So you can really say that there was a foul there before the penalty. It's not, if it was in a vacuum, it would have been called a foul if that was seen.
But was that
Kucho's
the
coming in.
reasoning?
No, I don't know if they haven't said a reason. I just saw in some of the replays, I just saw aware of that. And I also noticed a lot of pictures don't take that into the picture, but I saw some people adding that picture into the context where they say like Kucho is just clearing out this guy. So I think
What do you
that
mean he
might
was
have been the
clearing
reason.
him out?
He went
So they
in
might
and,
say, hey,
like,
if we're going to
studs
call
up
it,
on
it's
him
going to be,
kind of thing. Yeah.
yeah. Then they say maybe there should have been a free kick. So if they go review it, the correct call would probably be a free kick to Philly. and
Which
that's
is
not a
fine,
penalty
but
or
I
anything, so it's not
think
stop and play.
they
They should
should have
have
reviewed it, and
but-
it doesn't take much to go, hey, this is where it is. The foul is here. It is being called. Like, that is not a hard call to make. Just actually make it. Review it.
The weird part, though, is they played for like 2 or 3 minutes. I don't know how long they played. It felt like for forever before the ball went out of play.
Right.
So I don't know if they have finished their check before that.
It was
or
right
what
when
it
they were
was,
getting ready
but
to take the throw, at least on the broadcast. Twelman or whoever was on the broadcast with them said, "Oh, and the check is complete." So
Yeah.
I think in that time, late in the game, significant like that, you have to review it. You have to go look at it. And if you come back and say there's a foul in the build-up, it's a
So
Philadelphia
there's definitely
kick.
a foul. I just watched
there's
it.
a Philadelphia
He
kick going the other way.
took him out.
Okay, that's fine.
But then tell us that's one thing
Yeah.
they actually did in the Women's World Cup,
Right.
where they actually said, this is what we see, free kick Philly or something, or like no penalty because of the free kick before. Just say that so we don't have to be, because I was like fuming.
Right.
And we were complaining about the referee, and honestly, I don't think the referee did too much wrong. I think VAR made a lot of unnecessarily stops and less review or not call. In this case, I thought it should have been initially, but I think it was more a VAR issue. If we took one time 3 minutes, I think it was on their offside goal or something. There were 2 offsides
Oh,
They're both
in the same segment.
Everybody was offside.
Everybody was offside, and then we stopped the play for like 2 minutes to like review it. No, I sit right there. I can see it.
Yeah.
That's,
I think ultimately, I didn't. This is the first I'm hearing of that Cucho takeout, and I'm not gonna lie, that's a foul. Like, I totally get it.
Hot take.
I will say, that's a good call. Because if not, I could sleep better tonight, to be honest with you. Because I was so pissed.
You can say it about both things. I mean, it's just as sure.
Yeah.
There's a foul in the build-up, but there was also a foul on Ramirez. I mean, one just happened first.
Yeah.
And that happened to be the one that was it. Yeah. So ultimately, I felt like a tie was a correct outcome to the game. I thought we were off. I didn't think we were that great.
Yeah.
I think a tie.
In the end,
when you look at the stats, though, we did have like 2.5, like,
And 9 shots on goal.
yeah 21 shots. I mean, maybe. Yes, but
No,
they
we
were
should
not.
have had-
They
we
were
should
not
have had goals in
quality.
the first.
Like, if you're looking at just stats, we deserved more. But the game as it played out and like as we played, it definitely felt like a tie. Like, that felt all right. Like, they were a lot more clinical than we were.
482 accurate passes to 179.
Yeah, but the possession was insane, wasn't it? Like close
It's
to
what you do with it.
Yeah.
So close.
It's what you do with all of that. But I would say when you're down 1-0 against a Jim Curtin team and come back and
It's
at least get a point, it's a pretty good job. They're very disciplined, and they apparently like ties.
Yeah,
So,
they've been doing a lot. And I think one of us predicted a tie, but we'll get to that later. Let's wrap this review up. Take a break. We'll go to the. I'm just getting a lot of cold stares right now, so we're gonna take a quick break. We'll hear from President Bird on the result of the first playoff game for the Crew 2 against Orlando City B. And then we'll come back around for some Twitter comments and our predictions. So we'll be right back.
Good news, everyone. The Cappies have won their first playoff game and will advance to the conference semifinals against the New England Civil Unrest, or the Refs 2, in Boston. I gotta say, I knew we were going to win this one. I'm not superstitious, but earlier today, a beautiful downy woodpecker visited my backyard, and I took that as a sign that the day was going to be good, and it was. There's an owl here now. It's awesome. And the game itself was tough. Both teams were playing well on defense, not leaving much space for scoring. The first half ended 1-1, with Fuson scoring off of a PK deflection and Orlando tying all long after. In the second half, while Stan's teams became chippy and cards were starting flying around, it was clear that the Cappies needed someone to spark things up. And lucky for us, a personal favorite of mine, Thomas Roberts, is healthy again after a long time with a knee injury, and he was subbed in. And the midfielder drew a foul that yielded a yellow card right as he came in. Later, he would suffer a penalty that gave us the win. And where 2 red cards were issued, the end of the game was insane. You gotta go and see it. Jubin Raya got the red card on our side. And then finally, at the end of the game, it was his clearance that set Fuson to suffer an extremely boneheaded foul by their goalkeeper. I have no clue what he was doing over there, meaning that they had to finish the game with 9 players. The Cappies will take on New England next week. I think they were coming in hot to get those back-to-back trophies. Okay, so yeah, follow the Cappy Bravo on Twitter, on Instagram, and Threads, and thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, so normally what we would do, and Ben was trash talking me for always going last, and like maybe there's some kind of incremental strategy that I could have employed where I was, listening to. Now, this said, I will point out, if you go back and listen, if there's ever a 2-game week, I always go first on the second game. However, I do acknowledge that there could be some instances where I could have employed a strategy. That's all theoretical or hypothetical.
We're all pretty bad at this.
No, but
Facts.
But what I want to say is that what has been admitted and acknowledged on here is that, and I kind of alluded to this at the beginning when I was talking about how I characterized everyone a year ago when we started this show. The big miss I had was that Tracy, I'm going to just come out with it right now, has turned into a complete saboteur. he's adding.
Saboteur.
If you go back and listen
ridiculous.
to the bleeps are always you. You're always bleeping up this thing. And now what you've done is you've taken something good. What you've done is you've taken something that was fine. And now we can't. You're guessing what Haas is guessing, and you've ruined something good.
Hey, I guess what Mort guessed last week.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know.
You're just pressing the button.
Play
so now
to win
because
the game,
because
I love it
because we can't have anything that's good. Now what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to put it into a chat all at the same time. I'm sure he's gonna find some way to game that.
I got it.
And then
already done it.
Hack the chat.
It's already hacked the chat. So the way that we're going to do the predictions now is everyone's going to put them in at the same time, and then I'll go.
And then Mark's going to read them slowly one by
read 'em.
one and change his as he records it.
No. I'll put mine in. Okay. All right. So is everybody ready to put in their prediction for the New England game that's on Wednesday, 10-4?
Yes.
On turf.
It's on turf, right?
Where their own players have been injured for the rest of the year playing on their home turf.
Okay. All right. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Gonna submit your scores, then we'll go through them. Okay. 1, 2.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, whoa, wait, whoa. More sorry.
How was this difficult?
I can't. I'm not reading. I am not reading. You see my hands up. Hold on. There it is.
How did you guys whiff on this? We talked about what we were going to do. Okay. Ben says 2-2. Anything you want to add to that?
Nope. It's a tie if anybody's wondering.
Okay. Ben says 2-2. Mort thinks that New England's going to win 2-1.
Yeah. Yeah, it's on the turf. Like you said, the stats were there. I actually had it in before I even knew that stat.
And they have a 2-game week, right?
They tie a lot.
They do tie a lot. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Who else get it?
too.
Oh, yeah, okay.
All right. Trey, you said Mark sucks just like your mother 2-1.
Well,
that is true.
So 2-1 loss or win?
SNL
Yes,
Jeopardy.
put that
Yeah. So this was ambiguous intentionally, I assume, so that you could go 2-1.
I do not wish our team to lose, so it is a crew win 2-1 in New England, just like your mother.
Okay. Okay. And Haas said 1-1, a draw, a practical, pragmatic, precipitous.
Precipitation?
Pegasus.
Draw.
And Mark says 2-0 crew.
I say 2-0 crew. 2-0 crew. We're gonna snap that snap that home winning unbeaten
So the
streak.
two cheaters are going.
That would be
to
awesome.
win. Got it. We got this.
Okay.
All right. But we got
Okay.
2 games,
Oh,
baby.
yeah.
So we got to do another one.
So we got 2 games. So we got another game to go through. We're playing
Atlanta.
Typing it now.
Atlanta, another turf match.
Super turf.
Turf.
And they're taking Super
Turf.
Bus down.
Oh,
So,
yeah, Nor-
listen-
Oh,
Nor on
right, yeah.
tour.
I think-
Nor on tour.
Yeah.
Nope. Canceled.
What?
What?
COVID. It
Sorry,
was
guys.
COVID.
I don't know what. I don't have any of the reasoning, but I saw that the trip is not.
They
happening.
probably didn't book enough seats. Wasn't there a threshold they had to
man.
hit?
That is very
I think it was
possible.
a high threshold, too.
30.
They were
They-
doing
I think they
something.
had 2
30.
buses lined up, so it's. I just saw it was canceled. They're refunding people.
Oh man.
Dang.
Get out there and do it. If anyone has the means and the will and the way,
I want to see Mercedes-Benz
it's a party. It's a party.
Yeah.
Get
Yeah.
out there and do Nor on tour. So much
Well,
fun.
Wah, wah, wah.
Not happening for this one. Sorry.
It was. I mean, it was it's a bit of a taller ask, right? It was like get it there at 5, travel down, stay the night, wake up early, come back. It was like a 24 hour.
Atlanta's a ways away.
Yeah, Atlanta's.
It was probably 10 hours.
It's 4,444
General
miles
Sherman a while.
from my house. I think they had to meet at my house.
Yeah,
To drive
the
down
bus
there.
is
They're
leaving
going
from
by
Ben's house.
train.
Well, in Atlanta,
Ben is driving the bus.
Atlanta currently sits in 6th place, 49 points, 31 games played. They have 13 wins, 8 losses, 10 draws, and they are 10-3-3 at home.
10-3-3.
Dang. They lost the last, out of the last 7 games. they only
Yeah,
had one
I was
loss
going
to
to say
Cincy. Who won the Supporters
I
Shield?
would-
Move on.
one
I would.
against Montreal 4-1. They tied DC 1-1. They won against Inter Miami 5-2. No Messi. They drew Dallas 2-2.
They have scored 14 goals in their last 4 games at home.
Yeah, and but they have Philly
That's
midweek.
3.5
They have to travel to Philly.
3.5 goals a game.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Does everybody have their predictions up in the chat?
I do not.
No.
Hold on a second.
So we're playing Atlanta in Atlanta. They're not too shabby.
Crappy turf.
I feel like
Teams that play on
Mort
NFL fields.
hates the crew.
Honestly,
So-
I'd just be happy to get out of this week without anybody getting severely injured.
Right.
Also, we've seen
That's a
some
win.
reports and some pictures and stuff that Sands is back quasi training and running around, which that's
Yeah,
good.
let's put him on the
Santa?
turf.
No, I wasn't saying put him back. Welcome back. Meow. Man, remember how good
okay.
he was when he? Oh man, I would have loved to see his development without getting hurt. That's such a bummer.
All right. You guys ready?
No.
I was playing with him in EAFC 24.
Wow,
No longer FIFA
which is,
video game.
I mean, you got to distance yourself. From
Was he injured in the game or?
No, I'm just saying they had him in.
All right. Trey's
They
got to
had
be
him-
ready.
they
by
had
now.
him in.
ready.
We ready?
Yep.
Ready.
1,
On
2,
three?
3, go.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Let's see. Let's start with Ben. Oh, Mort's proving that he had it because he wrote it down. All right. So
Some illustration.
Ben says 3-1 loss
Yeah.
to Atlanta.
Wow.
They've been smacking.
I don't
trouble
see
at
a
home.
real score.
Super
for
fan.
Mark.
I do.
Ben says 3-1 loss. Let's see. Mort 3-3.
1 point in your mom's bag. I don't.
She
think
can
you've
take two.
I love
She
this.
can
I
take
love
two
this
at
new
once,
format. I love this new format, guys. It's so much better than it was.
It makes me want to die.
God, we're just gonna have to bleep all the chat.
Yeah.
Trey says rough, just like Mort likes it. Keep in whatever you're gonna keep in of that. 2-1. We assume that's crew win.
Yeah,
is.
but it's,
It is.
okay.
Okay.
No
Haas
details.
Is it
says
rough like a loss?
No,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's another reference to Sean Connery in the SNL skit.
I understand
Okay.
that, but is it rough because it's a loss? Because you said 2-1.
No, it's a
and
beat
we're
down in
playing
Atlanta.
away.
It's rough.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Haas says
It's like
3-2
your little magic
Crew.
cooking wand that you like.
That's still
Sorry, call back.
I said 100-0 Crew.
That's not a real score.
Well,
you need to
God
put
have
a real
mercy on your
score.
soul.
No, we'll
No,
take
I
him
put
not
100.
getting
yeah,
one
I just
on the
I was
Can you
weekend.
my
imagine
bet.
winning 100-0?
My bet was that I guess I was just hoping.
Your bet is that you're going to win, and you're just rubbing it in her face by not putting a real score.
Well, no, I mean I could still score a
take it.
point. And
Yeah.
Ben, I mean the only real contender here is Ben, and he guessed a loss. So
I'll
I'm
go
good
back
with
to my
mine.
previous comment.
Yeah, but
Mark
you didn't know
sucks
that
just like your
beforehand, or
mother.
did you?
All right.
All right. Man, this is gonna be a mix-up. This is gonna be a mixed bag.
How many people had it? There's a lot of ties out here. Wow.
Yeah.
I kept the same score so I could remember it.
There's no
Simpler
way that
times.
anyone's still listening to this. Is there God, I feel like how long have we been recording?
It's late.
We started on Saturday morning.
We started before the game. It's now Monday night. Okay, so what else was I
think
going to
the
say? We
answer
did not
is-
have any
sorry.
correct predictions online.
None?
So no
That is correct.
no improvement on the.
Do better, guys.
We have a
The
supporter
jersey is
supply.
still up for grabs.
Yes, and it will be signed by your favorite Crew podcast hosts. Not us.
It can be.
Now,
It can be. I'll sign it. Anything you want.
we could sign it. We could forge the signatures of other podcasters. All right, 2-game week, guys. Let's secure some home field advantage. And then we've got just one more game. Is that it? Montreal after that?
Yeah, it's insane. We're also
Ooh, I'm
gauging
going to
interest.
that
I
game.
think we might be trying to do kind of a watch along. I'm going to test that out this week, and we might have it up for Atlanta. So if you want to like tune in, you could just like watch the game. and
Atlanta
talk.
or
Probably
New
Atlanta.
England?
Oh, we could try New England. I got the YouTube set up, so it'll be a YouTube link. We'll probably just tweet it out or whatever.
Or yeah.
Okay.
It sounds fun. I just want to hang out with you guys and watch the game. To be honest with you, if anybody shows
Yeah.
up, that's just who cares.
Just not in person because that's
Yeah.
when we lose.
Yeah, I'm not going to be there, so don't worry
Super
about
spreader.
it.
Super
hey,
spread.
and
What?
and great job. We did this for a year, so
1 year.
Happy anniversary.
we'll keep it up. We'll keep it up until next week. Go Crew.
See you next year.
One more year. One more year.
Thanks everyone for joining the club. We hope you'll listen next week and every week, even in the off season, to celebrate or commiserate. We'll save you a seat. If you like this podcast, please give us 5 stars and subscribe. You can email us at upper90clubpod@gmail.com. That's upper90clubpod@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at upper90clubpod. Go Crew!
All right, we're back.
Wish you guys can
So
smell that.
the all right, let me try that again.
He's about to puke.
Fish and bologna.